if you could bend any element in your life, what would it be?
I'm gonna let you start because I think
I have like
an idea. But...
I have two thoughts. So whenever I was a kid, I always thought earthbending would be the coolest, and I always thought like because Toph is just like cool, and earthbending seems like very practical because there's earth everywhere. Like it's easy.
Yeah.
But the last time I rewatched Avatar, I think like airbending is really OP. Because you can like fly and run really fast and do the little air scooter and like there's just so many things you could do with air, and air's always around too. So I'm between those two. Thoughts?
Well, I know in college we had this discussion.
Oh, did we?
And like we did, because I remember we were in the dining hall one day and we like discussed it, and we were both like, Earth. Like it's simple.
Yeah,
like,
Earth is the cool. Like Earth is definitely the coolest. I think.
So I was Earth. I was very Earth bending. Yeah, and then after rewatching it, it's kind of in the same boat like last year. I was like, air bending, and then I've been thinking a lot about this question the past week for some reason, and I think I would go with water, because
why?
Because it's most of the earth is made up of water, okay? But not just that. Think of the hustle you could run, okay?
What, just blood bending people?
No, not even that. Just like you could start off your life being like a street magician, right? And doing like tricks with like water, right? Then you start getting more and more followers, and then you start being like, oh, I can break out of this underwater thing with my arms,
So once again, this is a money-making scheme.
Yeah, look, that's what the world revolves around. It's money.
World doesn't care about if you're a waterbender. If you don't have money, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. So like, run the gambit, run the scam. Start charging people like, oh, we're gonna fill this tank up with water, and I have like 30 seconds to escape, and then like use your water bending and do it, and then like after you start getting like popularity as a magician, you break off into the surfing scene. Because
how did I know that this would you would end up being a magician somehow in this?
But you're missing the part where you break off into the surfing scene. Because you're a waterbender, you could start being like the greatest surfer of all time. Start getting endorsements. Okay, start making money. And then you invest. You invest that money.
Would you stop? You're no fun.
Just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think
waterbending is the smartest play here. It's the smartest.
Jen's favorite is water. Jen always thought that the waterbending was the coolest. She told me that Earth was the dumbest. She was like, that one's the worst out of all of them.
Look, each of them have their pros and cons.
The thing about being an earthbender, like in the real world, is you're just gonna mess everything up, and like you're probably just gonna go to jail. Like if I try earthbending once, like I mess up a road, boom, jail.
She's like, hey, did you see the new Grand Canyon in South Dakota? Like,
yeah,
I think waterbending is the way to go.
I also don't know what you would do with like firebending. Like what are you gonna do? Like light torches?
Yeah, and go explore.
Unless you really want to just be like a murderer, I guess you could be a firebender. But
I mean, you could keep people warm if you ever get stuck in the mountains.
So you live out in the snow and you're a firebender. I mean, I guess that makes sense. But yeah, dude, air, you can literally fly. There's an episode where Aang just like runs super fast,
which is like every episode.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I would go air.
I think I'd go water.
What about like in the Avatar world? Would you change it up?
In the Avatar world?
Yeah, because there's other waterbenders, so you can't just have a money making scheme, because they'll just be like, yeah, I've seen that.
I mean, yeah, probably if I was, but I'm talking if we were in the real world, definitely waterbending, because you could run the gambit. You could just scam people.
So in the Avatar world, what would you be?
Oh boy.
I think I would be Earth. I think Earth would be more practical.
I think in the Avatar world, definitely.
They're definitely like the most powerful, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, because,
you throw...
it's all around them, you know? just like air. It's in between air and earth. If I'm in the Avatar world, if I'm in the real world, water bending. We're scamming some people. Scamming's not the right word. We're making money. We're making fat stacks.
Everything always turns into a money-making scheme with you, Dylan.
The world revolves around it.
I'm Matt.
I'm Dylan.
And this is
On a Tuesday?
In this episode, we talk the best show of all time, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Dylan, what have you been watching?
Boy, I'm trying to think, and
nothing this week. You had a slow watching week, huh?
I just finished up Jujutsu Kaisen. Okay, season 1. Just finished that up.
I have not dove in it yet.
HBO Max, get on it. Get on it.
Oh, it's on HBO Max?
Yeah, it's on HBO Max. You didn't know that? I literally said
that makes it a lot easier.
Exactly. So if I don't hear you talk about it next week on what you've been watching, I'm gonna have to use one of my slaps on you.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
It's good stuff.
So is the whole first season on there?
Yeah. They did this thing where they released episodes weekly. So I watched the first 18 episodes. There's 24 episodes in the season. I watched the first 18, and then they released them each Saturday. It was, I don't know why. I don't know what the whole thing
first
is behind
18 it. And then maybe to just suck you in with the binging, and then it's
well, I think it was just I think they had to dub it.
Oh, yeah, probably had something to do with
why.
Yeah.
But now all the episodes are on there. Really good. High School Musical, the series. Just
seen a lot of ads for that.
Have you never seen it?
No.
You should watch it.
I've heard it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
From you.
I mean, it blends it blends the music side with it's kind of like The Office, the way they do it. Something happens and then it cuts to them and they're doing interview style storytelling, and it's hard to explain, but it's very much kind of like The Office, but it focuses on the musical and high school, and it's just very fun. It's meant to be a fun stuff.
I assume you were a big High School Musical fan back in the day, the OG.
Not really. I mean, I liked it about as much as a normal.
As much as any other hetero male at the time.
Yeah, it was at the time it was oh, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's a nice message. You don't gotta stick to the status quo. You can branch out and do other things.
Mm-hmm.
But good stuff. The Big Shot with
your
Uncle
boy John
Jesse,
Stamos.
Yep. Good stuff. Still going on, and I started watching. I used to watch the show in high school called Treehouse Masters.
Never heard of it.
It came on Animal Planet, and it's about this dude named Pete Nelson, who's known as the Treehouse Guy, and he literally goes and he builds tree houses for adults who want to have their own separate space. When you think of tree houses, you think of little kid stuff, but
yeah,
he's built a
mansion tree houses.
Yeah, it's something he's built a brewery tree house.
Oh, so that's pretty cool. That's a good idea.
Yeah, there's a family who really big into brewing and all that, had their own company, and they requested him to build this one. So
that would be
in there.
Dude, that restaurant would be filled every day if you had a tree house.
He builds all kinds of different tree houses for people. I started watching that on Discovery Plus because I hadn't seen it for a while and I was in the mood for some fun stuff. Highly recommend it. Makes me want to have a treehouse like that. Pretty cool stuff.
Maybe I'll check out this treehouse stuff. What I've been watching is I watched all of Selena season 2.
I haven't watched it yet. Is it good?
Yeah, that's your Corpus Christi gal,
She is from Corpus Christi.
Yeah, we watched the whole first. So here's the thing. I wouldn't say the show is good. And I wouldn't say it's all that well made, but
it's
the characters, you get drawn in by the characters, and you end up caring about them, and they're very entertaining at times. And I think we all know what happens to Selena. So the second season was pretty rough.
They
they did the thing.
Oh boy!
And so it's only 2 seasons long. But
guess they're not going to get a third season.
No. I asked Jen at the end. I was like, "You think they're going to do a third season?" She's like, "No, I don't."
It's over. The story's been told.
But yeah, it ended up being pretty good. I mean, just like hearing that, it really makes you want to just listen to all the music on repeat. That's what I've been having on my Spotify. As of late. Little bitty bitty bum bum, I also watched New Mutants. Have you seen New Mutants yet?
Look,
I thought for sure you would have seen it.
There was a point in time where I wanted to, but after so many delays, and then after seeing so many terrible X-Men movies like Dark Phoenix, I gave up on it.
Yeah, I didn't watch Dark Phoenix. I remember you watched that and you were like, nah.
Somebody literally fell asleep in the theater. Watch it, not once, but like twice.
Just straight snoring.
Like, seriously, they were snoring, and like people woke him up, and then he was like, "Oh," and then he fell asleep again. Was like,
"Can you be quiet? We're trying to watch
Somebody woke him up, and then he was like, "Oh yeah," and then literally like 20 minutes later, straight snoozing again. Dang. Like, it was not a good movie. It was terrible.
New Mutants wasn't bad. It wasn't good.
So like 5 out of 10. 2.5 out of 5.
Yeah, it was in between. I think on Letterboxd. What did I give it on Letterboxd?
What did you give it? Because
I gave it a 2.5. 2.5 out of 5.
See, literally not worth my time watching.
I feel like there's a lot of cool stuff in it. Like when they use their powers, it's really cool. Like Anya Taylor-Joy's powers are sick.
See, whenever I think of watching it, I'm just like, okay, but it doesn't really matter because they're rebooting them anyway. The X-Men, they're being rebooted, so it's just like, it's not worth my time.
Yeah, it's not really. I wouldn't say it's worth a watch, but I would say maybe look up Anya Taylor-Joy's parts in like YouTube or something.
Oh yeah, I believe
she fights like a giant demon bear, and it's really cool.
I'm aware of that part. I remember seeing the commercials for it. I'm like, okay, giant demon bear versus Anya Taylor-Joy. Yep. Cool.
Good stuff. And it's so weird because they're all like super young because this movie was shot like 18 years ago. And it just came out
movie
like
was
last
shot
year.
it was shot in like 2017. And then it was just released like last year.
They have like Maisie Williams. Like she looks younger in this than she does in like last season of Game of Thrones.
So I feel so bad for him, but you know.
But it was all right. I mean, if you want to check it out, HBO Max.
Probably not. I'm never gonna watch it.
I watched something that you talked about this movie like episode 2 of On a Tuesday.
Oh yeah.
My dad's movie Argo. Mm-hmm. He won an Oscar for this bad boy.
Your dad being Ben Affleck.
Yep. It was really good. Really good stuff. Good. I don't even know what it was. I think it just popped up on HBO Max, and I was like, you know what? It's time.
It's a good movie. Like, it's very intense.
Dude, the whole ending, I was just like, I mean, I assumed like things ended up being okay, but like it was really rocky there for a minute.
Yeah, they did a good job at like.
It's funny when you think about the plot. It's very simple. Like it's like we make a movie or a fake movie to get people out of a country, and then they just kind of do that.
And it worked. I'm really surprised that.
And that's like the whole movie, and yet it's still like very.
It's like suspense. Like you're just like, oh my god, are they gonna make it out? Even though
you assume.
Yeah, I mean most people, I would hope, know the story. If you don't, look it up. It's really interesting.
I mean, I didn't know the story before watching it.
I mean, I knew like
I knew the premise.
I knew the gist of it. Like in the 80s, there was this fake movie. And it was used to help get people out. That's what I knew. I knew that it had worked. I knew that. But I didn't know, like, the depth that they had gone into, like, making this fake movie. Like, they built press up and all that stuff in, like, just a couple days. You know, that part was crazy.
It must have sucked for, like, the actors that got hired and stuff like that. And, like, all those people got fired. Yeah, like, it's finally my breakthrough role. Like, I'm finally going to be in something. I've been grinding for years and years.
It's just like, it's been 15 years. I finally got a breakout role. And then it's like, yeah, this movie is just... Yeah,
it's canned.
Yeah.
But and then
anything else?
Yeah, the last thing I watched was this Japanese, like, 1977 movie called House. It's like a horror movie. It's actually like a
Interesting.
cult, like it's one of those movies that are like cult classic where like
Right.
if you're a film nerd, it's like, oh yeah, that movie's great. Wacky
Really?
movie. I wouldn't say I recommend it, but if you're up for a trip, I mean, go right ahead. Don't take it seriously at all because it's not
Meant to be serious.
it's crazy. Very, very trippy. Dylan, what do we got next? Do you have any news for us that came out this week?
I mean, there's been a lot of news that's been going on in the world.
Is there any not depressing news that we could talk about?
Boy, not depressing news. I don't really know, man.
I feel like you sent me something on Twitter the other day. It was something to do with. It was some kind of Marvel.
There's been a few instances of not depressing news.
There was. So one thing you sent me was a rumor of a Midnight Suns movie in early development.
Marvel,
what is that? I don't know anything about that.
So the Midnight Suns is like a collective of like basically like Marvel's, I wouldn't say like heavy hitters, but like they are some of the people who can like
They're like the mystical people, right? Or is it just
it's like a mix of like mystical, but well, like in the comics it's a mix of like mystical but also like
just
ones
people who
that
can take
like
punching? Like,
yeah, like so like in the comics like Punisher, Blade, Ghost Rider, Doctor Strange.
it's all your like anti-hero, like grunge.
Yeah, it's anti-heroes, like people who have been through some stuff. People who have emotional damage.
Yeah, okay. They're like, who has emotional damage? Let's put them on a superhero team.
Yeah, so there's a rumor that there's a film in early development. It's gonna have Doctor Strange, Moon Knight, Blade, Hannibal King. I'm not too familiar with Hannibal King.
No idea who that is.
Hellstrom I'm kind of familiar with. He's like the son of the devil.
Is that guy from Ghost Rider?
Maybe.
Whenever he's like, I am Legion.
Maybe. I'm not I'm not too familiar. I just know Hellstrom.
Look, if you haven't checked out Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider, you really need to go check it out.
That's another character who's rumored as Ghost Rider. Okay, for those of you who may not know, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. introduced...
Don't know what that is.
I
don't mean to hate on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. people, okay?
You should, you should really watch it. It's a good watch. Mm-hmm. But in Season 4 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they introduced not one, but two Ghost Riders. There was the main one who was Robbie Reyes, who is the newer Ghost Rider, who's got like the cool Dodge Charger, I think it is, and like turns into Ghost Rider, and I think it's called the Hell Charger, something like that. And then they also like in one of the flashback episodes showing how he became Ghost Rider, they introduced a motorcycle riding one, but they didn't specify if it was oh my god, I'm blanking on his name. It was the normal Ghost Rider that Nick Cage played, who was
I'm gonna be honest with you. If Nick Cage isn't playing Ghost Rider in this new movie, I honestly don't care. I do not care. I want to hear Nick Cage screaming because he's on fire. That's all I want.
So there was Ghost Rider, and then the last one rumored is Scarlet Witch, which I think is interesting to see.
Yeah, that sounds like a very cool team.
Yeah. So, but they also rumored that there's also a rumor going around that Ghost Rider is rumored to appear in Doctor Strange 2. So I mean, if he shows up in Doctor Strange 2, it's possible that this rumor of a Midnight Suns movie could be true. Since
what are the odds that it's Nick Cage though?
It's probably very low because, I mean, as much as we love Nick Cage and his acting styles, they set up Robbie Reyes and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. very well, and they left his like ending very much open and so like I can see him very much
for a
showing
future.
up in,
Yeah, I understand that.
yeah. So that's a little bit of news.
Sweet. So last week I kind of messed up. I didn't watch
Yeah, you did.
episode 2 of The Bad Batch, and so we had to review episode 1, and that's it last week.
Right.
But guess what I did, Dylan? I watched episode 2.
What about episode 3?
Episode 3 dropped? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah,
Uh,
I watched both of them. So
You had me going there.
so we can finally review episodes 2 and 3 of The Bad Batch. Let's start episode 2. This is the episode where they go to the planet where there's that one clone from the Clone Wars.
His name is Cut. His name is Cut.
His name is Cut?
I believe his name is Cut.
All right, his name is Cut. They go to Cut's planet, and this is the guy who was like a clone deserter and like literally started a family. I thought it was really cool seeing him back.
I'm really glad we got to see him, and like they made sure to like they did a good job of like making sure we don't forget, because we saw his character in Clone Wars, and so I like that they brought him back and they kind of showed like what this new like post Clone Wars life is gonna bring for him a little bit, because now they're like the Empire's starting to like put a lockdown on everything. They're taking people's ships. They're basically like, if you're
they're
like
starting the occupation basically.
Yeah. So like it was nice to see like from his perspective,
like a family man, like just like what it's gonna do to like normal people.
Yeah, and like it's really especially interesting since we are going to see what happens to the clones, as they transition into not using clones as stormtroopers anymore. So
we got a lot of that in episode 3. I feel like
we did, but it was really nice to see like how that affected Cut and his family, and it was just fun. And then he mentioned Rex, our good old Captain Rex.
Captain Rex.
And
odds that we see Rex in this show.
I mean, he's showed up in the trailers, so.
Okay, so high.
I put it at 100%. I put it at 100%.
99.9. They pull a fast one, and he just never shows up.
Did you not see that trailer?
I guess I did not. We got a lot of Omega I feel like we're getting a lot of Omega content in all these episodes.
I'm liking it. She's fun.
You said that you really liked her last week.
I really did.
And I think you were talking about this episode. And just how she's kind of doing her own thing. She's like, I could do stuff, like, let me do stuff. She almost got eaten by one of those cats from episode 2.
You noticed that too, right? As soon as I watched the episode, I was like, hey, I remember that.
I think it's called like a Nazgul, I'm pretty sure.
You are probably more familiar with it than I
am. But yeah, those things are cool to see. I don't remember if they had those in the Clone Wars episode that Cut was in or whatever.
Yeah, don't recall.
So at the end, Omega was supposed to go with the family, with Cut's family,
right?
To go live like a normal life and be a kid.
That's what Hunter wants.
So did she just like run away? Like, do you think the Twi'lek mom was like, oh yeah, go ahead, go with Hunter and them, or did she just sneak away? Because she just ran straight into blaster fire. Like, as
I feel like the mom was definitely like, you gotta follow your own path, and do what feels right, because like, and
then let her run straight into blaster fire.
Because I feel like they said like she's tougher than you give her credit for. I feel like she said that to Hunter or whatever. So I feel like she knew that she would be okay, but like, she didn't like be like, oh no, where's Omega?
We never saw. They must have just left. Like, they were probably just like, if Omega did sneak off, that means that they just were like, well, we gotta go.
She's gone.
Bye.
Yeah, no, I feel like she definitely was like, you gotta follow your own path, young one, and do what you gotta. I hope she's like, be careful, and she didn't just be like, go run into that blaster fire over there.
I think that's exactly what happened, because that was one of the things I literally wrote down was like, Omega just kind of sneaks off, and that family does not care. But this was a good episode. I really liked episode 2. Episode 3, I think, was better.
I would agree.
We got our team stranded on a moon, basically.
It's not a good episode of Clone Wars if clones aren't stranded somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of...
It's a classic episode.
Getting stranded on a planet is just a Star Wars thing. It's happened on Mandalorian. It's happened in Clone Wars. It's just...
It's part of the job.
It's what you do. They get stranded on a planet. They have like these creatures that are eating their
attracted
ship.
to the power.
Yeah.
They're attracted to the power sources.
In this, Omega like kind of ends up being the hero who like goes and gets the power source back from the creature.
She used her brain power.
Bro, no, I got some heavy like Rey talking to a snake vibes in that, and I think it's just leaning more and more into Omega being force sensitive.
One thing, I mean, I definitely agree with you because there's something special about her that they haven't revealed, you know, and I definitely think being a force sensitive person because good old Palpatine, okay, he cloned himself, right? He used the Kaminoan technology in order to clone himself, right? So I'm trying to think like maybe this was like Kaminoan's first attempt at... I'm not saying it's a clone of Palpatine.
Is that what you're saying, Dylan? You're saying clone of Palpatine? You've heard it here first, people. Dylan thinks it's a clone of Palpatine.
I'm saying like...
Got the blonde hair.
I think that the Kaminoans were probably trying to like figure out how to get like the force sensitive like ability into it.
This is like the start of what they were doing with like Baby Yoda type stuff.
Yeah, so like they were like trying to do that, and they probably figured it out with Omega, because they definitely at the end of the episode they made it seem like Omega was the key, like Omega was super important. So
yeah, because they were saying that they weren't the Kaminoans saying they wanted to get her back or something like that.
Yeah, because they were trying to ensure their like survival or something like that. So there's something about it, and I'm thinking they were messing around with the midichlorians there, and they were getting it figured out. And Omega was the first like successful test subject with midichlorians. So.
I 100% agree. We also got a lot of good stuff with Crosshair. Him and his team. They're trying to implement regular people into these clone regiments.
They're doing what they were doing with like Finn in episode 7, where like they draft these people. Well, they kind of kidnapped him when he was a kid.
Yeah, not like episode 7. More like what you see stormtroopers in like episode 4, where they're just like trying to get people, like they're recruiting. It's like in Solo when they're recruiting people.
Yeah, that's probably a better one, because episode 7 they were just kidnapping kids at that point. Yeah, they're implementing basically the draft. What would be like the draft in our world, where they just take you in and they're like, hey, you're joining us. We'll pay you and all that. So I thought that was interesting. I thought it was interesting to see.
I don't really understand their thought process with like not using clones, because they've already shown how they've said that the clones are like literally engineered to fight,
be better,
and to be better. And they've shown that they're completely obedient when they have those chips in. So it makes no sense that they want to recruit people.
It could be because they know, because the Kaminoan said that the Jango Fett's DNA was like
starting to
like break,
deteriorate. So they would have to use a different clone.
Yeah, so it could be that they're just like, okay, it's breaking, so let's just start drafting people. Yeah.
The one thing that I could say that maybe there's reason for it is, I feel like if you recruit regular people, you're going to have a lot more people who take pride in the Empire. It's like the US, like we take pride in our soldiers and stuff like that, and I think that's just kind of another way for them to get people on board with this Empire and because if want to be in it.
Like your family member becomes part of the Empire. You're not
you're going to be pro-Empire.
Yeah, so they're definitely trying to like sneakily be like, hey, we're actually really good for the galactic, galaxy, here. So yeah.
Any other things that stuck out to you in these episodes?
Do you think Crosshair is gonna be redeemed by the end of the season?
I mean, I think that there's no shot that he doesn't. I don't know if he'll get redeemed. I do think he comes back to like the team. I mean, I think they've talked a little about like now that the Bad Batch knows. Yeah, now that the Bad Batch knows that he has a chip in his head, and that's the reason that he's probably turned on them. They're gonna do everything that they can to try to fix him and get that chip out. So I think we're gonna definitely see that. What's their plan right now, Bad Batch? Are they just flying? They're trying to get away, or are they trying to go somewhere?
I'm really not sure if they have a plan. I think they're just trying to survive and try to find a safe space for right now that they can like set up, a living,
get their bearings,
Yeah, because I mean, they're on the run now. They are on the run, so life's dangerous, especially when they have a kid with them, Yeah. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where they go from that.
Yeah, still really interested in what it's going to get. I feel it. Like, it's getting closer and closer as to, like, what's going to happen to clones now that they're in the Empire.
They're definitely building up to it.
Like, I thought that whenever they first introduced that team of just not regs, but just regular people who were going to join Crosshair on that, I thought they were going to be wearing Stormtrooper armor, and that was like the first time we were going to see it. But they were wearing clone armor, which was
painted black. Yeah. Which
was like Bad Batch feel,
Yeah.
But yeah, I like these episodes. I'm excited for the future of this.
It's interesting. Me too.
Dylan, are you ready to hop in to our main topic? Because we have quite the main topic today.
It's a big one.
It's a big one. It's near and dear to our hearts. It's near and dear to a lot of people's hearts. We just kind of decided that we wanted to talk about Avatar: The Last Airbender in its entirety, and just kind of, like we did with Star Wars, just kind of gush about how great it is, what we love about it. Dylan, my first question for you is just, what was like your first experience with Avatar? Boy, like where did it all start?
2005, Maryland. That's where I was.
That's where it happened.
Boy, I mean, I can't remember if I like saw previews of the show leading up to it. I can't remember. I
remember previews for it before it came out.
I feel like there were, and that's how I remember it came out, Nickelodeon, 2005. There I am in Maryland. I'm like, what, 8 years old, right? Didn't expect to get my mind blown, okay, at 8 years old. But there I
would say, like, to start, I feel like the great thing about
Avatar
off
is like very like,
it's kiddie, like it's fun. It's just it doesn't get into the mind blowingness. I feel like to start.
Like, whenever you're talking about cartoon shows, I feel like you fall into like two categories. There's like one that's like, it's very clear, like, this is kids, it's gonna have like, there's gonna be like a storyline for each episode, it's gonna be very fun, lighthearted. We'll teach you some lessons at each episode, and then there's other cartoons that are like, they have like,
it's gonna be a little deeper.
Yeah, it has deeper themes, deeper meanings. It'll teach you stuff along the way, but like they have a very like, the episodes aren't like just like by themselves and then you never like refer back to them.
Yeah, like SpongeBob.
Episodes will like build off like one little thing, and like
you actually have like a narrative.
Narrative, and that was very clear that was going to be like the show, because it's the first episode. It started with them, okay, we're going to take you to the North Pole, so you see that it's going to follow that journey.
This was probably like the first show I ever watched that was like that, as far as like a show that has a continued narrative and isn't just one-off episodes every time. Because before that, I mean, it was just SpongeBob and Caillou and Cyber Chase,
Yeah. And so, like, I mean, don't think I realized it then, but like you start with that, and then like I think it's so like the first episode is split into like episode 1 and 2, it's like the same thing. So I think it's the second or third episode where we see like the destruction of the Fire Nation. We see the skeleton of Monk Gyatso.
Yeah, that's literally like the second episode.
yeah. So like that's when you're like,
oh,
whoa! You're like,
I remember as a kid, I didn't like that. I didn't like that episode because it was so like dark and sad.
Yeah, I was like, am I supposed to be watching? Like, is this meant for my age? And I think that's one of the like main. It's one of the main draws of it is just like, you see some like real stuff. Like,
yeah, it's made for kids, but it's like it's mature enough to have
exactly.
like real. You get real emotions out of it.
Exactly.
I think when I first, so I remember I watched it like as it came out as a kid. I remember like when it like stopped for a while or something like that. Like it had a hiatus after season 2.
There was a long hiatus. I thought it was never going to come back.
I remember as a kid, me and my brother were just like both like so sad.
I was so sad
that we were never gonna get to see like the end of Avatar. And
yeah, because I was like, Aang just got shot with lightning, and they're flying away. They just revived him. I was like,
the biggest cliffhanger. Like that was the biggest
like a
cliffhanger.
Year. They put it on hiatus for like a year, and I was like, it's like we're just never gonna find out what happens after. Like I thought for sure it was done. I was like, okay, all right. And then when I remember seeing the commercial for whenever they announced that it was coming back, and I was like,
thank God. Yeah, I remember being so hyped as a kid whenever like just seeing like that it was coming back and we were gonna get a final season. I remember watching like that last season and thinking like the last season feels pretty different from the other 2 seasons. It's definitely like more mature and
it's more mature, more serious. Like the stakes have never been higher.
Yeah, I mean it's all in the Fire Nation, so it's just always on edge. But I do remember like watching the finale as a kid, having my mind absolutely blown to pieces.
Like the 2-hour finale, it was like they showed like all 4.
It was a movie. It was a movie. Yeah,
it's basically a TV movie, and like it was insanity.
I've seen a lot of people say that you'll look at lists on the internet and stuff of like shows that ended perfectly and stuff like that, and this is on a lot of those lists where it's like a finale that just delivers.
So good. It was such a good finale. Like from start to finish, it was a perfect show. Like I would say it's a perfect show. Like 9.7 out of 10.
I think
I don't want to give it a 10. I can't.
I would give it a 10.
Okay, I'll give it a 10 too.
I think there's only one episode of the entire show that I would say I don't like, and it's the one where Aang can't sleep before the invasion of the Fire Nation. Yeah. And like Momo and Appa turn into like samurai. And they're like talking and fighting.
That's why I was like, I wasn't sure if I wanted to give it a 10 because like everything is perfect, but yeah, I don't. That episode is just like so.
I know a lot of people don't like the episode of the canyon whenever they go into the canyon and there's the two clans. I like that episode a lot because it has like whenever Aang tells the story, he's like, no, it's just a little kid, they're playing
and then at the end they're like, it's a good thing you knew them both, and he's like, I was just BSing, I don't know anything about these kids. Yeah, that's probably the only redeeming quality about that episode. But yeah, that's probably one of my least. Those are like my 2 least favorite episodes. But like other than that, like every episode hits, every episode slaps.
Yeah, I just think it's crazy how I think that. So this is my favorite show of all time.
I would say hands down. I would agree. I would probably agree.
And I think it's crazy that it's something that I saw when I was like you said, like 8 years old, and it's lasted this long because this last year was probably the first time I rewatched the entire thing in like years
I would agree.
And years.
I would agree.
And I remembered all of it.
I remembered like every single episode. Like, I don't know if it's because like I remember like Nickelodeon would like replay the episodes, and every chance it was on, I would just watch it. But like, it holds up. it stands the test.
Insane how much it holds up. Yeah,
it's been like 16 years since it came out, and it's still one of the greatest shows of all time. And like the thing I love is that like people nowadays can watch it on Netflix.
I know when it dropped on Netflix, it got a whole new like
it got a whole new like
other people being like, whoa, this show is awesome.
Yeah, it got like the resurgence of like you and me and like people our age who are like
who loved this to start, and then you get all these new fans. Yeah,
and then people who hadn't seen it, they're just like, what's this? I'll just check it out. And then they're like, this is great. And like I just remember it was trending on Twitter, and everybody was just like nobody was being bad, like, oh, see all the new people, like
everybody was like, come on in.
Nobody was like gatekeeping. Everybody was like, join us. We're here.
We know it's the greatest thing you've ever seen. We know. Yeah. So it is the greatest thing we've ever seen, or I've ever seen. What do you think it is about Avatar that is so amazing? What is it that we love about it and that makes it the best show of all time to us, at least?
I mean, again, I think the fact that it's like a cartoon, so like you can enjoy it as a kid.
It's very accessible.
But it's not just that. It's the like we were saying, the narrative and the storytelling and the world building, and like how it mirrors some some events from like the real world, like the genocide of the Air Nation. You know, it mirrors a lot of real world
thematically issues. It's very like there are a lot of lessons to be learned in Avatar.
Exactly, and so I think that's probably one of its draws. Is
the show's
not
about
just
war.
Not just that, but also like they do a good job at like world building and like developing characters from like the beginning all the way to the very end of the series. They did a good job of like giving characters their growth.
Yeah, I think that just like from the start, I mean, the premise of it is automatically cool. Where it's there's four people that can bend elements. Like that's just visually cool.
It's so cool.
The added element of integrating like different fighting styles into that.
Yeah, like each bender has different like styles of how they like move.
Yeah, whether it's like jujitsu or like karate or whatever.
And like some like firebenders adopt like earth bending techniques in how they fight and all that.
Yeah, so just all the martial arts is very cool. Like you said, the world we've both we're on record of saying how much we love world building. So I think it's a great world. Like it has all this spirit stuff. It's got, you see like the map from the very beginning, and it just leaves a lot of room for exploration, which they do. They explore literally the whole map in the show. That's pretty much what the whole show is about, is like exploring and going through the world.
I found this image, like I think it was on like Reddit or something, and it has like everywhere that they traveled in,
like lines and stuff.
And I have it like saved on my camera roll, and it's just so fun to look at because it's just like they really did
they bounced around.
They traveled the entire world just like throughout the show, and it's really cool to see that.
So beyond that, I think the main things that are great about it is literally just like, it's a really funny show. It's really like well written, and it's just kind of hilarious. The whole show is hilarious. And I think the characters are just, love these characters. I don't think there's a single character in the show that I hate.
Ozai.
I mean, yeah, he's kind of a douche, but like he's voiced by Mark Hamill. Like how much can you hate him? You got Luke Skywalker himself voicing the most evil man on the planet. But absolutely love this. Speaking of characters, I'm curious, who is your favorite character in all of Avatar?
Iroh.
Uncle Iroh. What is it about Iroh that you love?
He's just so wise, and like he's experienced. He's experienced some stuff. Okay, like he's done some terrible stuff because of like what his great grandfather started. And he was in the war, and he did a lot of these things that were bad, and then he, you know, he lost his son, and it took that.
Pour one out for Iroh's boy.
It took like that punch in the gut for him to realize the Fire Nation is so messed up. Like, he's like, why are we doing the things that we're doing? You know, it made him question everything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I just love the fact that like he like was trying his best to guide Zuko, and like to get him to see throughout the entire show that what was going on was wrong. And I think that storyline of him essentially becoming Zuko's father figure,
mm-hmm.
and trying to teach him the way a father should, and all the lessons he taught. I thought that was really good. And I don't know if Iroh's my favorite character. I just said that right off the bat, but
I think it's totally understandable if Iroh is your favorite character.
I would say he is one
of the best, 100%.
Yeah,
I think at base value, I mean, Iroh's just funny and like he's super entertaining. The whole the whole first season, he's just an entertaining, funny duddy. Like he's the fat old guy who just lazes around and doesn't really care.
But then, like, there's always those moments where like stuff's hitting the fan, and he's just like in the finale for season 1, whenever he's like, if you heard that,
I will unleash on you tenfold.
Yeah, and then he does it, like he kills the fish, and then all of a sudden he's just like, okay.
That's the other thing, is he's just so cool. Like he can back, like he's this lazy dude who literally is like one of the most powerful benders. Like,
and like he will back up whatever he says. Like, and like I love that we get that in like each season. Like he's just like. So
I mean, they just keep getting deeper into Iroh, and then they eventually explore all the things that you kind of talked about, all the heartbreak behind him. I strive every day, or at least I should strive every day, to be like Iroh. Just drink my tea, enjoy. His whole thing is just like enjoy life, like don't be a douche to other people. Lovely guy. My favorite character. Can you guess who my favorite character is?
Is it Sokka?
It's Sokka.
You know. If we're talking favorite characters, I'm gonna agree with you. I think Sokka is my favorite character.
Sokka's easily, I think, the best. Well, I don't know. I think a lot of people think that Iroh is the best character in Avatar, but Sokka carries. I think Sokka carries the whole show.
He starts off like, I think whenever I first watched it as a kid, I didn't like Sokka at first, because like he started off as like this very like patronizing, like, oh, Katara, do laundry.
He's like sexist at the
start. Very sexist, and like I did not like him at the very beginning. But then again, what's so great about the show is like the way that they build the character. So like they take him from like this. They take him from this real sexist jerk of a guy, and like, they take him through this stuff, and he meets oh my god, he meets Suki.
Yeah, and that's like, kind of where it turns. Yeah,
that's where it turns, because he's like
girls can't fight.
And then all of a sudden, he's like, you know what? I was wrong. I'm a jerk. And like ever since then, he starts this new character path of becoming like, hey, men aren't gonna be the greatest at everything. He's like, sometimes a woman is gonna be better at you, and like. It goes from that to being like, he's like very like, go women, like go.
Even like I feel like they do stay true to his character though, because even in later episodes, like Serpent's Pass, whenever they meet back up with Suki, like he's trying to protect her the whole time and doesn't want because I mean that's after Yue dies, so obviously he's like very protective of like that's one thing I love about Sokka, is he's just the protector of the group. Like he will literally like fall on a knife for anybody. Even though he has no powers, and he's the one that's always trying to basically shield everyone else from everything. You see it in like little moments where like he covers Toph in the finale whenever the airships are falling. Like he like covers her with his body.
I just love his progression from start to finish, and then whenever he wants to like learn something to help him become a better like member of the team, you know, so that way he can actually participate and help in fights, and he becomes a swordsman, a swords master. I just thought that part was so cool. And then like he's just such a great character. He goes from like I said, he goes from this sexist jerk to being like, you know, he's
the man. He's also hilarious. I want to get into some of our favorite quotes of the show, and basically all of mine are just Sokka quotes. He's just a guy with a boomerang. He didn't ask for all this flying and magic. He's just the meat and sarcasm guy. I love when he's talking to the little, what is it, a moose lion? Whenever he gets stuck in the hole.
Yeah,
he's like, all right, if I get out of this, it's no more meat or sarcasm. That's all I am, is the meat and sarcasm guy. And then he gets out and he's like, do you have any meat? You got any quotes for me?
I mean, I can't really think of a whole lot off the top of my head. You know, there's moments?
What about moments in the show? Like, what are like the top moments? It could be fights, it could be interactions.
Again, I think Sokka, one of the best moments of Sokka becoming a swordsman. There's just something about it where like he feels like he's not pulling his weight in the team, and then he decides, I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna learn to become a swordsman and all that. I think that was like one of the like coolest moments. Also just seeing him like be big brain and like plan out the entire like invasion on the Day of Black Sun, and like
Day of Black Sun I remember seeing that as a kid. And
I was like, this is insane.
I thought that was going to be the finale of The Last Airbender.
I thought so too.
And so then whenever it ended and it was like they lost, I was like, wait, what? There's going to be more?
Oh boy, I'm trying to think of like.
I didn't understand how many episodes were in a season back then. So
yeah.
A couple that I have are, I think the Zuko versus Azula in the end.
Like the final Agni Kai.
Yeah, I mean that was just you can.
That was like
you can go back and watch that on YouTube, and it's just the music, like it's just gorgeous. I mean, gorgeous, and all the weight behind their fight. I mean, it's insane. Another thing I love is Sokka walking through the desert, cactus juice step, fluffy giant mushroom, mushy giant friend.
When May and Ty Lee betray Azula, and they realize like we're doing the wrong things, and they like
May's like, I love Zuko more than I fear you,
and she's like, you made the wrong choice, and then Ty Lee comes out of nowhere. Yeah, Ty Lee comes out of nowhere, just like
yeah, Ty Lee's sick. Yeah,
Ty Lee is overpowered. She is too good. Oh man. What else? There's so many like great.
Zuko's angry at myself speech, I think, is great on Ember Island. Whenever he, this is after like he betrayed, because he said that he was gonna, he betrayed Iroh, and he's just kind of struggling with who he is, and he basically just lays it all out on Ember Island whenever he's talking with all his friends, and he does like I'm angry at myself, and like the fire bursts up from the fire pit, and I feel like that's like the turning point for Zuko, because Zuko's such a great character. I feel like so many things have been.
I love Zuko. He's also one of my.
He's literally. Do you think
great?
Kylo Ren was literally based off of Zuko, right?
I would agree.
I mean, he's literally just Zuko.
They're like,
I think J.J. Abrams was like, yeah, I want that guy.
They're like, what should we do for this character, Kylo Ren? And someone's like, have you heard of Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender? They're like, no. And then they watched it and they're like, okay, that's going to be the character mold. I mean, it's just so well. I forgot to mention, I think Suki is also one of my favorite characters. She's a badass.
Let's run through. So some of my favorite characters, obviously I said Sokka. Toph. Our girl Toph. the blind bandit. I mean, literally probably the coolest character out there.
If I had to choose top 5 right now, it's Sokka. Like in no particular order, it's Sokka, Toph, Zuko, Suki, Iroh. Top 5.
That's a good one. I've got.
It's hard.
This isn't top 5, but it's close.
Aang is like.
Aang is not my favorite character, but he's definitely like
he's got good. Yeah.
I mean, he's great. He's just not the coolest.
Yes,
but
I would agree.
But I mean, he's
the Avatar
awesome.
isn't the coolest.
Yeah, Aang's cool. But I got Toph. I got Jet. My boy Jet. I always loved his swords. His hook swords were the coolest things ever when I was a kid.
His hook swords are cool, but Jet got on my nerves so much.
I love Jet. Jet. Did he die? Question mark. Unanswerable questions.
You know, I'm pretty sure nobody really knows the answer to this except for the creators, because they did that in the Ember Island players.
Yeah. They're like, did Jet just die? And they're like,
it's unclear. Like, no, so nobody knows if Jet is actually dead.
Yeah, I think Jet was dead. I got Iroh on mine. I got Azula. I think Azula is a really cool character, where she's just
villain, because she was. I mean, I've seen so many like character breakdowns about like how she was like so obsessed with being perfect, and like the strain of that on her mental health.
Perfect, like
yeah, but like it was because her like father. There's like so many different like working.
She's got some mommy issues,
and like the mental health like breakdown I've seen on like her and like other characters. It's like insane how
her eventual like breakdown is, I think, what makes her character so. I mean, to start, her character is awesome just because she's so overpowered and she just dominates anyone that she goes up against. Yeah. She's literally the opposite of Zuko, where you watch Zuko and he fails over and over and over, and then you watch Azula,
but that makes him better.
Yeah,
it's because of that failure that he is able to
he ends up overcoming her. Yeah,
he becomes a great, not only firebender but like leader in person and all that. But because she was perfect to start from the start, that she like never failed at anything, that she just fails once and she just breaks. Like,
I think Azula is one of like the best villains out there. If you're talking top villains, and then my boy Appa. That big fluffy beast. I love the guy. I mean, you get the episodes of him lost.
That broke me. That was like, that's one of the saddest episodes.
You want to see a little kid cry? I'll tell you what. Watch Nappa getting thorns picked out of him when I was like 10 years old.
God, such a sad episode.
Do you want to go into our top 3 episodes, Dylan?
We've been talking for a while. I think it's about time.
It's about time we hit this. We end this strong with our top 3 episodes. Dylan, do you want to give me your number 3 to start?
Oh boy!
Actually, do you want me to give some? Actually, you go first, and we'll give honorable mentions at the end.
At the end, yes. Yeah. Well, we could do honorable mentions now.
No, that's not.
Okay.
Because what if one of your honorable mentions are one of my top 3?
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna start this by saying that my 3 favorite eps all come from season 3. I think season 3 is the best season of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
It's a great season.
No cap.
I think my favorite season is the second season, but episode 3 has probably like some of the best episodes, like individually.
Season 3 just, I think, knocked it out of the park. So all mine come from season 3. So my number 3, I think. Oh boy, this is tough. I think my number 3 has to be. It's in between 2 of them.
Make it a tie, dude. I don't care. This is our podcast.
All right. You know what? F it. It's a tie between the Day of Black Sun and also the episode where Aang and Zuko learn.
The Firebending Masters.
No, not when. Dang, that's awesome. But the one where Aang goes and he learns from Avatar Roku, and Zuko is reading the scroll about his great-grandpa.
Yeah, that is
he finds out,
the Avatar and the Fire Lord.
Yes, that's one.
We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Okay, yeah. So I guess it's a tie for those 3. Those 3 are tied for number 3. I could not decide.
Can you say them again? Which were the Avatar, the Fire Lord, and then Day of Black Sun? Are you saying Day of Black Sun together? Both of the 2?
Yeah, the 2 part. the 2-part episode. I just count them as 1 part.
Dude, such a cool. Like, if that was the finale, it was so funny that back then when I thought that was the finale, I thought it was an awesome finale. Like I thought, but it was funny because towards the end of it, I was like, wait, like
you're like nothing is getting resolved.
Aang hasn't fought Ozai yet. How
you're
is
like
this?
There's no resolution. This is a terrible finale.
Is going to be a 2-second fight between them?
Yeah. So the Day of Black Sun, the Firebending Masters, and then the Avatar and the Fire Lord, all tied for number 3. It's so hard to choose between those.
Firebending Masters is definitely an honorable mention for me. Whenever they go and meet the dragons,
they do like the little Dragon Ball Z dance.
Yeah, they do the
and then
dance.
At the end of the episode, they're like, "Oh, cool, you learned to dance," and like Zuko's like, "It's not a dance.
Yeah,
it's an ancient technique."
Yeah, those are great. My number 3 is the library from season 2.
That's an intense one.
They find the library of what's his name, like Wang Chi Wow or something like that.
Wang Chi. Oh,
I don't know. I don't want to butcher. I already butchered it. It's something like that.
We've already ruined it. It's a cool name for an awesome
for like, a sick owl. Dude.
Owl spirit.
That owl spirit is dope.
He terrifies me. He
haunts my dreams. He shows up in Korra. We'll talk about Korra in a different episode.
We're saving, for those of you who don't know, we're saving Korra for a different episode. She deserves her own.
But yeah, that owl, man, what a cool owl.
He terrifies me.
We get Sokka discovering that there's going to be a Day of Black Sun, and that's
and
the
that
way
they can defeat the Fire Nation. That's also the episode where Appa gets taken.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, man.
What a heartbreaking moment, man. When Toph is just trying to fight him off while trying to hold on to the library as it's sinking. I mean,
you know what I think
Toph starts crying, and it's just, oh my God.
It breaks your heart. But you know what I think
comes out, and Appa's gone.
What I think is really interesting is that, like, after that moment, we see in, like, season 3, whenever they are all together on the beach, that she says, I've been practicing my sandbending.
Yeah,
so
because
that moment, she felt so powerless, and she does not like to feel powerless, let me tell you. So that moment made her practice her sandbending. So she wasn't going to
lose again. She wasn't going to lose again.
Metal bending, she invented that, and then she like honed in on her sandbending. So she just best earthbender ever.
But yeah, number 3, the library. I just love the lore of it all. I love that there's just this giant library buried in the desert, and this is where we kind of learn. This is where we learn that this is the library that General Zhao went to.
Admiral Zhao
went to figure out that the spirits were living in the koi fish pond, and that those were the spirits. Just a cool like way to wrap it all up. It just, that episode alone shows how like ahead the writers thought with everything. They definitely had everything planned out before.
They're like Day of Black Sun, where the firebenders are powerless, and someone was like, "I already got you, fam. We're saving that for season 3."
What do you got? Number 2.
Oh, number 2, the Boiling Rock from season 3.
This is one of my least favorite episodes.
Really, dude, I love it. I love a good prison break movie. You know, I love a good prison break. You know, and I love. It's so cool to see.
Good Sokka content for sure.
It's good Sokka content and good Zuko content. That's where we get that's rough, buddy. That's where we get the classic meme.
My girlfriend turned into the moon. That's rough, buddy.
Rough, buddy. But I love. There's, like I said, I love a good, like, it's like a heist. They're like trying to save his dad.
It's a heist,
so
100%.
It's like a heist. It's like a heist breakout, you know, and like they're trying to like make sure that they don't get caught and all this stuff. And it's such good content. And then like not only is it like intense and all that, but we also get that one dude who like they like break out with, and like he just shows up and he's like part of the group.
Yeah, when he's like, I'm new here.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody?
He's like, hey, I'm so and so. He's like, nice to meet you. But also like whenever they're like they find Sokka's dad and Suki, and then they're like trying to break out, and like they're like, we need to start a riot. And then Sokka's dad is just like, I got this. And he goes and insults somebody. He's like, why would you say
That hurt
that?
my feelings.
Yeah. And then the other guy's like, don't worry, I got this. And then he like picks up the one dude. He's like, riot.
Riot.
And then they all just start rioting. So it's just good like fighting and like the intensity, but it's also got some humor in it too.
Yeah, we get some Zuko and May content in there. This is the episode that you're talking about where May
Where they're
and
like,
Ty Lee turn on Azula.
Oh yeah.
Very great moment.
Good stuff.
It's a really good. I will say I used to not like it that much, and then after my last rewatch, I liked it a lot more. It's still not my favorite, but
it's one of my favorites. It's good content.
It's a really good episode. My number 2 is something that we mentioned earlier, something called The Avatar and the Fire Lord. This is the episode where Aang goes with Roku to learn about Roku's story, and Zuko is reading the scrolls to learn about his great whatever's granddad.
It's such a while,
Ozai.
but like I remember watching that episode and like it blew my mind because Avatar Roku's daughter is
Zuko's grandmother.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I remember watching that. I was like, so Aang is like Zuko's great grandpa?
Yeah, spiritually related.
Yeah, so I was like, this is insane. I remember watching that episode, and yeah, that was like my reaction. I was just like, this is insanity. Like, because I was like so mind blown by the fact that like there's stories where like not only were they related, like, you know, from the beginning, but like even going back before they were even like born, their stories were so connected.
That they were connected, yeah. Just like it's one of those things where it's like a history story. Anytime like they do like a little tale, I'll talk about another tale that they do in my favorite episode. But
I love it's the lore. It's the
lore, man. It's this, and the great part is that it's like a great story. Like that lore was such a great story of these two.
You got to see how who became enemies,
and it ends up starting this whole show basically, where it starts the whole war. Getting to see Roku's a really cool character, as little as we got from him.
Dude,
you just get to see like his
hair.
Great facial hair. You just get to see his struggle. And how avatars aren't perfect, and how he messed up, and that's what kind of messed up everything. Dude, the part where the dragon flies down and encircles him because he's gonna die. Oh my god, man, that's
tears.
Oh, it's just sad.
It's like a puppy dying with its owner, you know.
Yeah, and
tears.
And you get to see Zuko kind of understand. At least start to understand what he needs to do.
Well, he was already struggling with his, you know, with his
decision that he made.
Yeah, but then like this moment, just like it made his like decision even more complicated, but also at the same time clarified it. You know, like he realized that it wasn't going to be an easy decision going forward on what to do, but it made it clear like
like the moral. What was morally right versus what maybe like familial, like his family ties, he was gonna have to like break that. And I think that this episode just does a really good job of showing that this war wasn't black and white, and how wars don't just start as like an evil guy doing something. How there's always just like this gray, like there's always just something that things are deeper than just black and white. Yeah, it's not like the Fire Nation isn't just evil. That's not how it is. And that's why
what was his reason? What was his reason again? I forgot why he
wanted to spread. So they were in like a age of like prosperity. Like the Fire Nation was doing amazing, and he wanted to spread that prosperity to the rest of the world, and kind of show like basically like make the rest of the world better by taking it over. Obviously not a great plan. Not a great plan. But
he's like, see how great we are? We're not taking over your town. We're dead.
That's how great we are.
That's a terrible
But yeah,
plan.
just getting to see the history, and like you said, we get to see that Zuko's grandpappy was Roku.
Good stuff.
Dylan, you want to hop into your number 1? I have a feeling I know what it is since you've already mentioned it multiple times.
I'll let you guess. What do you think it is?
Is it Sokka's master?
No.
What?
It's his... boy. You know what? We're gonna tie that one.
Now it
We're
is.
that's gonna be tied with number 2. Okay, we're just gonna make that tied with number 2.
Can we talk about Sokka's Master real quick? Because it was on the hit. It was almost my number 3.
It's so close. It's so good. It's
Dude,
so
the
good.
space sword, bro. The space sword is the coolest. Like, I want one of those, like, on my wall.
I want it too.
You know, when you go to the mall and they have all those, like,
Yeah.
those real weapons of stuff, I want Sokka's space sword.
I would probably go to actual like blacksmith and be like,
have him
make it. Yeah, like, be like, can you show me? Let's just mentor me for this one moment and like show me how you do it, because it's so cool. It was so cool to see him build a sword and then practice this skill so that way he could use it to help become, you know, better with the team and all that.
I love the part of that episode when Aang dresses up in the giant like demon thing, and he's like, "Look, I can bend this into an air sword." Whoosh, whoosh, and then he like falls over.
He's like, I should wear this whenever I go fight the Fire Lord or whatever.
They're like, maybe not.
Like, I don't know about that, but
yeah, and that's like where we get to see that the White Lotus is it's not just this little thing.
Yes. Okay, so
all old people know each other.
I'm tying that with the Boiling Rock. It's tied for number 2. It's so hard. But my number 1 is the series finale.
I saw this coming.
It's the 2 hour, and like it feels like a cop out.
Look,
it's just so.
I totally understand. Like we had to talk about it here.
It's just
we couldn't
fantastic.
not talk about it.
It's amazing. Is it your number? It's probably not your number.
It's not my number 1. You know me. I like weird offshoot stuff. I don't like the big awesome. I don't like the objectively awesome thing. I like the weird other thing. But what is it about this? This is probably one of the best finales of all time.
It wraps up so many storylines that were started from the very beginning, you know, and then it was just like everybody had something to do in this finale, you know.
Everybody had a conclusion.
Yeah, like the Iroh and the White Lotus, you know, King Bumi.
Dude, the White Lotus fight
Master
with
Pandel,
all of them was so cool.
Zhang you know, just all of them just like, we're taking back Boston State. And it was just like, oh, yeah, it was 5 of them because we forgot Master Paku.
Yeah, 5 of them took out,
five older dudes took back a whole...
Actually, no, it wasn't just 5 of them because they had a whole army kind of that went with them, right? Yeah, because remember, weren't they were at the White Lotus camp?
Yeah,
where, like they had a bunch of people.
It's not just going to be 5 White Lotus members. Yeah,
I mean, they basically took it all together. Like
they did the brunt work. Okay, they did.
Yeah,
like,
they did the heavy lifting.
Yeah, so like five older dudes who are like from like, I don't know, 50 to 70. They were just like, we're taking back the town, which the Fire Nation couldn't even do at the height of their power. They were just like, we're taking back this town.
Yeah, they probably should have done that earlier.
They
chose literally the worst day to do that.
Yeah, but yeah. So not only that, but then, oh boy, the last Agni Kai with Katara and Zuko versus Azula.
Very cool. We talked about it a little already, but very cool.
I mean, it's so well done.
Lion turtles, bro. Lion turtles.
Look, I'm gonna save that discussion for Korra, but I have so many thoughts about the lion turtles because they said
we can have that discussion in Korra because I have a problem with Korra and their use of lion turtles. Anyways, the finale is amazing. It's like this tale, like the whole finale is about Aang trying to figure out what the right thing to do is, as far as he's been taught his whole life not to kill, that all life is sacred.
But everybody is trying to tell him, you gotta take him. You gotta take him out. And so it's about him finding that balance of what to do. But you know, like I said, it's really good because we had some emotional moments. Zuko reconnected with Iroh. Iroh was like, I don't blame you. I forgive you. I've always loved you. You know,
so
and then like we got the action, we got the heart, and then there was also some funny moments. There was that part whenever Sokka
You can't have
was
Avatar without funny moments.
whenever Sokka was like, "Hey everybody," to everybody on the blimp, they were like, "Can everybody meet in the quarters
Whose
for
birthday is it?
Yeah, they're like, whose birthday is it?" And then he drops the entire like staff into the.
I like when the
water.
guy's like, he's like, I can't believe the captain remembered my birthday.
Yeah,
And then they
and then
fall.
he drops them all in. Oh, but
We get Toph doing like
stuff.
metal bending on top
On
of
a
the blimps. Yeah, like turning the entire thing.
Dude, that moment when like didn't like Sokka like throw his like sword?
Yeah,
at,
that's
like,
why I hate this episode, because Sokka loses his space sword.
But he eventually finds it because he has it in Korra. Somehow.
He must have just gone on a search.
He
Metal
probably
detector.
he either like went on a search or like Zuko and Aang together were like, if you find a sword, belongs to our friend, just give it
If
back.
it's a black sword, yeah, can we get that? Thanks.
Maybe he might.
Maybe they just burned down that whole forest to find it.
Maybe he.
Wait, was it a forest under them? No, it was just rock.
No, it was like a forest. It was like straight up forest. Maybe he just made a new one. Maybe he found some more.
Maybe he
meteorite
found
and
another
just,
meter. Yeah, he took Toph's little thing and.
Just like, hey, I need that bad.
I mean, look, they probably didn't use all that meteorite to make one little sword.
The point is, it was a great episode, great finale. It wrapped up everything perfectly. Love it.
I remember as a kid, I so obviously mind blown by that. I mean, Aang doing the whole four elements together thing, like in the circle thing, shooting all that at Ozai. The whole fight between Ozai and Aang is just amazing, just visually, like amazing. And the music, the music.
So they knew
music is so good. I remember when I was a kid, I didn't really understand the whole, like whenever he takes his bedding away and it's like the light that flashes out of his face.
Oh yeah.
And Ozai's face, and then they overpower each other. It's like a willpower kind of thing, you know. Didn't really understand that as a kid. Still don't fully understand. Like I get it, but like it's gray. Like what happened there? It's pretty gray. What Lion Turtle gave him power to take his power away? Sure, whatever. But it's a very cool finale. Aang and Katara end up together. Are you happy with that?
I was. I mean, it was pretty clear from the get-go that they were going to.
There was a lot of people that like shipped Katara and Zuko together, so
that's a little weird, but I mean, it's not weird, you know, if you're into that thing, okay, but they didn't do you know.
Yeah,
I just think they definitely built it up around.
It was obvious that was going to happen.
Aang and Katara, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, what a great episode. Am I good to go to my number one?
Yeah, go.
Do you have any idea what I'm going to pick?
Tales of Ba Sing Se?
No, but that is on my honorable mentions because that's a beautiful story.
The Cave of Two Lovers.
Cave of Two Lovers is my number one. Do you think I'm stupid for thinking this is my number one?
I mean,
stupid a strong word.
Was it my favorite? But I understand. It has the banger.
I just love,
it has the banger.
Dude,
Secret
what a banger.
Tunnel.
Secret Tunnel.
It's an absolute banger. I wish
tunnel.
If they like released that as a single, as an EP right now.
Club banger,
I'd download it because, you know.
I love this episode just because I think it has like everything that's great about Avatar. It has like lore with the whole the two lovers that got stranded, like Romeo and Juliet, and then that's what becomes Omashu. They named the city after them. It's got badger moles coming towards me, come on guys, help me out, and then that song with the big badger moles who live in the tunnels. Yeah. Great stuff. That group of the musicians, they're hilarious. I love that guy. And Sokka's like slapping his forehead. They're like, "Why is Sokka? Why is your forehead so red?" The guy's like, "I think that kid might be the Avatar." I love this episode. It's so funny and it's so it's everything that I love about Avatar.
The musicians were probably on some cactus juice. They were
100%. I think they were drinking something
they were
in the
feeling
episode,
it.
so they must have. Yeah.
But again, they gave us the classic Secret Tunnel.
Secret Tunnel, man.
Secret Tunnel.
Dylan, it's been great talking Avatar with you. This is probably one of my favorite episodes we've done.
I love it. Can't wait for Korra. We got some hot takes coming in on that one.
Oh yeah, Korra's gonna be a different discussion. I like it a lot.
I do too.
Let's just say that. Where can they find us, Dylan? We're at On a Tuesday Pod on Twitter, on Twitter, Instagram. We try to post.
We gotta make that TikTok.
We gotta make a TikTok still. We keep talking about it.
Never do it. I'm gonna make one probably tonight, and I'll send you all the info, and I'll just give you the reins.
You're gonna make me do it.
Well, you're the video guy. You know that.
I'm just gonna teach you how to do it, and then you can do it. I'm gonna make you a Premiere thing, and then you can just do that. Anyways, be sure to subscribe on YouTube if you haven't. If you watch this on YouTube, I feel like most of our people are audio only people,
which is fine.
But you know, if you're on YouTube, we appreciate you. Give a like, subscribe. If you're on iTunes, give us a like.
Yep. Apple Podcasts.
Share it with your friends, and I'll see you next week, Dylan.
I'll see you next week, Matt.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, buddy.
Bye.
Bye.